Want to sound better on your flute starting right today? Well, in this video, I'll show you 3 beginner flute exercises that help with tone, control, and musical confidence right from your very first notes. Welcome to Learn Flute Online. I'm Rebecca, and I'm here to help you learn to play the flute the right way with fun step-by-step lessons that actually work and don't overwhelm. Now, these 3 beginner flute exercises are a great place to start, and I'll walk you through each one. So one of the most important things for beginners is learning how to hold the flute correctly so that it doesn't slip or wobble around. Now, in this exercise, you'll practice moving your left hand thumb and your index finger on and off while keeping your flute balanced, which is actually needed for a good tone, believe it or not. Now we're going to go back and forth between the notes B, C, and C sharp, and this helps you learn how to shift smoothly while keeping your flute steady. But first, I'm going to review the balance points so that you can double check how you're holding the flute. So the first thing we need to notice is that we have something I call our comfy chair on our left hand. And if you kind of pretend you're coming at me with a handshake, that's a great place to start and set your flute on your comfy chair. It's at the top of your palm bone, at the base of your finger, and if you kind of start in your finger crook and slide it along, you'll feel it go clunk, clunk right there. It just kind of lands right in there. That is our first balance point. Then of course our first finger is going to learn how to hook around and come over onto that first key. Now what we have to notice is that our first key is not really the first key. First key we don't actually press, but that's where we want our comfy chair. We want our flute to kind of be sitting right under that first key. And then we slide over to the key that we actually press with our finger, and that makes that first key go down. So you notice that? So that is our comfy chair, and that is number one most important thing for balance. Now our second one is going to be actually our right hand, and we're going to get our thumb underneath the F key. And so a good way to do this is just kind of put your flute on your shoulder right here so that you can balance it and look at it. So we'll get our thumb under the F key. That's where our index finger goes. And we're not going to let it go sliding out far. We're going to actually kind of keep it at the bottom base and back on the curve a little bit. And that's our thumb. We can talk more about those things when we get more detailed inside our module lessons, but let's just start there for now. And then we're going to take our right hand fingers and we're just going to kind of let them relax over so that we have what I call a little mouse hole. Little hole. So not letting our fingers rest on the bar, okay? So we've got to have that hole. Then the next one, our next balance point is our right hand pinky. It's going to go on the pinky key, which is the first key of the foot joint. And we're going to go ahead and press that one. Our mouse hole fingers are just kind of hovering or slightly touching the keys. We have our comfy chair up here. And our number 4 is our chinny chin chin. That is going to give us good balance. See what's actually touching the flute. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now that we've talked about balance, let's go ahead and work through those notes. We have a B, a C, and a C sharp. We're going to be doing those forwards and backwards over and over in order to practice our balance points. So B has our first index finger and our thumb on the long key in the back. That's our B with our right hand pinky on. Move the thumb off for our C. And then C sharp has our first finger off. Those are the most important first 3 notes for practicing balance that you can do as a beginner flute player or as a returning player or as someone who is just trying to get better at what you're doing. We are going to use these as an exercise. We're going up and down, and then we'll mix it up a little bit. Watch this exercise. We'll play these notes slow and long, and then we'll change our pace up and watch for wiggling or feeling unstable. And this is actually one of the first beginner flute exercises that I use for my students, whether they are brand new in their first 3-4 years of playing, or especially if they're returning to flute to learn how to become a better musician this time. So use this flute exercise daily and enjoy your time with it. So let's go ahead and move into beginner flute exercise number 2, which is to learn to articulate well. Now, articulation means starting your notes clearly and cleanly, and this is where you'll learn to use your tongue, and I call it using your tongue pop in the beginning of the notes. What we're going to do is take a deep breath in, and we'll seal off the opening in our lips with our tongue from behind. And then we'll pull our tongue back in quickly, allowing the air to release, which creates our tone. And if you've balanced your flute well, like we just talked about, then you have a really great chance at making a very nice sound. Now, I always say if you can get it right once, you can get it right always and forever. So really strive to do this well. Try it with just one note over and over, starting from silence and then to a really bold, clear sound. Now we're just using a B for this flute exercise today, and we're going to vary the length and the speed of our notes because remember, our whole point is to make sure that we focus on the beginning of the note with a super clear articulation. Repeat these Bs for about 20 seconds, and remember to repeat and vary the lengths and the speeds, and then go ahead and change notes and find out if you can still articulate well. Try different things and see what happens. Okay, now here's a quick tip. Watch out for slow tongue movements that make it sound more like you're brushing your tongue rather than popping it. We really want to get clear right when we mean to. Okay. Brush, or pop. Beginner flute exercise number 3 is my personal pro tip that's all about hindsight, really. Many players stay glued to their sheet music forever, but your ears and your fingers are capable of so much more. So in this exercise, we'll listen, look, and think, and remember. We can actually learn to hear music notes and be able to easily and individually identify them, just like we do our colors. Remember when you were a preschooler and you learned to identify like the color red from blue? Well, when you're starting out on the flute as a flute player, you'll do yourself a really big nice favor by stopping and learning to pay attention to your notes and what they sound like in the same way, so that you don't have to run for a music stand and get some music every time you want to play something. Well, here's a demonstration on how you can begin to achieve this skill. We're going to play one note, like the B that we've been listening to, and we're going to think, what does it sound like? What does it feel like? Take time and listen, and actually, I want you to literally turn off the lights and just get really friendly with one note each week. Going to try different things, like try rolling the flute in and out, blowing harder and softer, make short notes and long notes, play from the B to the A. Listen to what the B really sounds like, because it's going to be, like I said, learning your colors, and you'll just become to identify it a lot more quickly, and this will help you not be over the long time stuck to your music stand, because it's going to start your brain into a new skill of listening to what you're doing and being able to play without looking at something. So do what I said, turn out the lights, and just experiment with one note at a time. Because this is a skill that will take you far. Take this little exercise and have some fun with it. So which of these 3 beginner flute exercises do you think will help you the most this week? Let me know in the comments, and if you're ready to keep going with me, I've created a complete A to Z learning experience at learnfluteonline.com. You can start for free in the silver level and then join me in the full foundational gold level when you're ready, which also moves you into intermediate, and I have an advanced level as well. I know you like to learn at your own pace, from your own home, and on your own schedule. I've got you. So make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another flute player, especially if they're new or returning to it. I'm so excited to help you sound amazing on your flute. You did yourself some good by exploring 3 beginner flute exercises today. See you soon!